Let's do the conversation. We know that what has been dominating the news headlines over the last 12 hours, if not 24 hours, is the number of students that have been taken ill at the Kumasi Academy, but there are also subsequently fatalities that have been recorded. And just the last 12 hours, we told another student died, bringing the number to 4. But in all, some 44 others have so far been admitted. But I have my guest in the studio to help me do the discussion. Roxanne Nelson Dapamokpo is a member of Parliament for South Dying. He's also a legal practitioner. And also here with me is Daniel Ochem Abuaje. He's a member of Parliament for Bantama. And you will know that where Kumaka is located, that's Kumasi Academy, not necessarily close to Bantama, but just within the enclave of Kumasi, Cybercrime area. But good morning to you, the two of you.
Good morning, Roland.
And it's something that we all should be worried about. Fear seems to have gripped all of us, especially knowing that, well, students are in a school, etc., and we need to take a lot more caution than we should. I'll start with you, Mr. Ochem Abuaje.
Good morning, Roland, once again, and good morning to your cherished viewers, and especially the people in Bantama. And also, let me say that we are all in spirit, you know, joining the Otumfo Situtu second in mourning his mother. And the funeral rites are being performed. I was there, I think, a couple of days ago. I understand maybe even tomorrow we might go back in to join him to celebrate. I think it's more of a celebration of life than funeral. And of course, if you had a chance to go there, you see the massive display of Ashanti culture, and it was quite good to see. But of course, we are mourning with him, as we can say. Roland, the issue in Kumaka is quite worrying. Somebody was talking on one of the platforms and was saying that unless you have a kid there, sometimes you think it's quite, distant. It's not probably real. And I happen to have one of my nephews there who is, I think, in Form 1 right now, still in the school. I'm worried about his situation. So like every parent is worried. But we need to also be very careful to ensure that if this is an issue or a problem that can spread because of the way it is going now, we have about 11 deaths also. About 44, as you just said, in the hospital right now. If we don't manage the situation very well, even the fear alone can kill people. You know, it has psychological implication. People can even die out of just fear and the trauma of what is going on right now. So I'm just going to plead with the authorities that are sitting and managing this situation right now to hurry up a little bit, to make sure that they treat this as an emergency very quickly, to determine what parents need to do. Because honestly speaking, I was thinking, parents have been put in a dilemma. Should they go and take their kids to the house? And assuming it's an issue, a disease that can spread in the house, then it means you are taking the problems to the house. Or should they leave their kids in the school, or to hear bad news or to hear that they are worried? If you're a parent, you can sleep. I've been pondering on what is happening, what is going on. Where are these kids? What are they doing? So I believe that you have to treat it as a national emergency as quick as possible and take steps, quick steps, to be able to address the issue that is going on. If the kids have to go home, if they have to break and vacate for them to go home, I think the decision has to come, and we don't have to wait any longer, unless we think there's a situation where they have to be quarantined so that it doesn't spread. If it's a disease that is going to spread, if we let them go home, they're going to send it home and give other things. I think we should respond to this quite quickly and make sure that we are able to put people, parents, to a point where they are comfortable, they are at peace with their children, and they know that Ghana is on top of the issue. And I think if you listen to the regional minister, what he was talking about yesterday, it seems they are on top of the issue. There are several meetings going on, and various stakeholders have been involved, and they are pushing the agenda. And I think I want to appeal to them to hurry it up so that together we solve this issue that is going on in Kumaka. It's not pleasant, it's not good at all. Let me say a big thanks to Honorable Muntaka, whose constituency we find Kumaka, high school, because he raised the issue on the floor of Parliament also. and made it a big issue. And we are all supporting the fact that it has to be pushed, it has to go faster, and then we can have a resolution of assault.
Yes, Roland, like it said, before I touch on the matter, let me use the opportunity to say good morning to my constituents, and let me congratulate citizens of Peki and me for a successful Binduko Festival celebrations. I missed the festival. I was on a national assignment, but I received very rave reports that it was very successful, and so we are hoping that next year will be bigger. Now, regarding this matter, it is not Kumasi alone. I hear it's as a result of insanitary conditions that is characterizing the situations in the boarding houses. Every academic year, some of these things happen, but they do not result in death. Even when we're in science school, sometimes we experience cholera outbreak. What the administration at the time did, or often would do, would be to close the school temporarily for, say, a week, for the situation to normalize, or for them to take some remediable steps, or take some steps to as it were, have the situation brought under control before the students are brought back. The Kumasi thing, I don't know whether it's a case of cerebrospinal meningitis because of the heat. We need to know. We don't have to allow our children who are supposed to be in the boarding house studying die in the boarding houses. Our boarding houses are not supposed to be death camps.
Death chambers.
So I want to urge the authorities, GES, to, as a matter of agency, direct that the school be closed down temporarily. The difficulty is that they are in their remedial revision week. They're about to write their end of term exams for the first term. But we cannot sacrifice lives on the platter of examination. And so my recommendation, my advice would be that we should close the school down for at least a week for all the relevant agencies in the health subsector to go in and either fumigate the place and or review the situation before the students come back. You see, anticipation of death is worse than death itself sometimes. Yes, because you're in the hospital and people are dying. You check your the bed to your left, you say the patient is dead. You check the bed to your right, say the patient is dead. Are you next? Yes,
it happens.
And it's not acceptable.
I guess you're frightened.
Yes, you are anticipating death is worse than death itself. So please, you should close down the school temporarily so that the situation can be reviewed thoroughly, health-wise, before the students are brought back. I don't think that if they miss first term exams, it will be so fatal to their end of year examinations such that they will not be able to help them. The school should be able to review their situation and take the best decision in the interest of the generality of the people. And that is that allow the rest of the students to go home so that the few, up to about 50 that are hospitalized, we can pay attention to them so that the doctors can work on them and get them discharged so they can go to their parents and recuperate at home and come back to school to continue their studies. But GES must pay attention because there are a lot of insanitary health situations prevailing in the boarding houses. I think as a fallout of the programs being rolled out, a lot of measures are not, we all agree that a lot of the situation in the boarding houses leave much to be desired. But they should try and check it. Kumasi should be temporarily closed down so that the situation can be brought under control. Those will be my remarks.
The remarks. Now, Mr. Ochemabwaji, we have a lot more schools of such nature, perhaps even bigger ones. And the circumstances under which the teachers or the students live, whether on campuses, will not be different. And I'm told that they have a lot more day schools too. day students than even
the greater number
than they will even have for boarders. Shouldn't the way we have approached this, knowing that in April, we wouldn't say we had similar cases, but we had some concerns, health cases that were raised, leading to a fatality or two.
Sure.
Now, the way we approach public health issues, and even confining this issue to second cycle schools, shouldn't that be a concern for us, not only as media, as parliamentarians, but even for the health system in itself?
Well, it should, actually. It should, but I believe Kumaka serves as an example. Of course, in April we had the issue started somewhere in April. But I remember there was a meeting with the CEO of KMA, and he was talking about a plan that he was putting together to ensure that all the secondary schools...
You mean the mayor?
The mayor.
Okay.
Yes. All the secondary schools that were in Kumasi are fumigated. You know,
Okay.
so I'm not sure where that was some time ago when it started, the whole issue started. And he was talking about Prempeh College or Pokowari and some of the various schools in Ashanti.
Or maybe he
region.
did for only the big schools.
I'm
Kumaka
not even sure. Kumaka is big, it's not small.
equally big.
I'm not sure if it's already
No, I
done
know- I
it
know Kumaka
or
is.
it is still work in progress. But I believe what we're experiencing right now will probably even make it a priority item on his agenda if it's not already done, to ensure that fumigation goes around everywhere. We have to take more of what we call preventative approach than a reactive approach, where we allow the incident to happen before we start looking for things. That's I think it should be the thing of the past. We should actually be more proactive, especially when Honorable Roxanne was talking about that some of this issue, if it is actually heat, it is known that, you know, in terms of when it is really hot, students who are in boarding house, and especially if they're crowded, you know, will experience such things. In that case, we have to take preventative actions, steps that can make sure that the windows in the dormitories are big enough, and there is ventilation and stuff like that. But of course, we are not medical doctors and health professionals, so what the comments we are making is that whatever the findings are, whatever the lessons are, you know, of course, we don't want people to die or students to die before we start picking up lessons. I think we should be more proactive in our public health activities than to see this happen to us before we can respond. And even that, we have to make sure our response is robust, quick enough, and it is able to provide lessons that we can take and apply to prevent such occurrence. I am not the least happy, and I'm sure all of us are worried about what is happening in Kumaka, because Kumaka may be a tip of an iceberg. Who knows? You should take steps to make sure that this doesn't occur anywhere in the country. Yes.
But it means that we have to move to the next level.
Yes.
So you're saying closing down will be the best way to go?
Yes, Roland, because you see, we are all speaking of fumigation. The critical factor in fumigation is, are we applying the necessary quantity of the chemical? You know that assemblies are allotted monies
Sure.
as part of the common fund to do communal fumigation.
That's correct.
You discover that either they don't do it at all, but the money is dissipated at the end of the calendar year, or the chemicals that are procured for purposes of the fumigation are either expired, or the chemical strength in mixing the water for the fumigation.
The efficacy of those
Yes.
chemicals.
And so they do the fumigation, but the germs and the rodents and all and the insects, they still crawl by.
In local panels, one can say in Tija.
Good. So it is not simply a case of fumigation. We should do the fumigation properly, so proper. And in doing so, you must release the students.
Yes.
Because you can't fumigate the schools and keep the students in the gas.
No.
That will engulf the rooms for a few days.
That's also dangerous.
Good.
Very.
You know, chemically they can't inhale that. So once KMA is part of their and I can understand why that discussion came up, because they are allotted a portion of the common fund.
Sure.
All right. To do that. So if KMA intended to roll out this sometime in the past and it's in the process, the best thing, the best approach is to, if today is the time of Kumaka this weekend, let the students go home. You know, or a midterm. Give them a midterm.
Yeah, I'm sure they will.
Let them a few days. You fumigate. They come back, say, after Tuesday. If it's the time for Parental and all the other schools, it could be Maoli School, it could be Anglon, it could be Boso, it could be all the schools. They should approach, the assemblies should roll out a timetable for the fumigation of the schools. Particularly, it could be done. Particularly, it could be done during the vacation, during the Christmas break, between Christmas and New Year, when they are on recess. We want to urge all the heads of the secondary schools to liaise with the assemblies, or in the reverse, the assemblies should liaise with the heads, the management of these schools, so that they can fumigate the schools before they return after New Year.
Yes.
So we don't continue to lose our future leaders. Roland, people will begin to sue the state. When I send my 15-year-old to Kumaka to go and study, and he dies under strange circumstances, I'll have a recourse against the Republic. I am going to sue the state. People will begin to take remediable steps against the state. Then we will wake up. It is not sufficient to say that.
For what, negligence or what?
Why not? You should be able to tell me why my son has died. Under what circumstances? Medical. Meanwhile, GES assured me that the conditions prevailing in the boarding house is such that my son's health will not be at risk. It is under those circumstances that is why I agreed that my son be taken to Kumaka to go and study. And now he dies. Parents will begin, when people look, we are getting to a level where people will begin to assert their course of action right against the state, and then officials will wake up. You know.
Okay. So that's a legal advice you give.
Yes.
I
am saying they should sue. Yes, people should begin to sue when they are aggrieved, when they are aggrieved, when their rights are breached, when their legitimate expectations are breached. I expect my son to be in good health in Kumaka. Now he has died. Somebody should be telling me something.
All right.
So I should have a remedy against the state.
Well, we have our colleague within Shira FM, Ohiming Tewia, on the line now. He will give us a recap of all that has transpired and the latest, as it were. Good morning to you, Ohiming. Good morning, Ohiming. Okay, so at the end of the day, we know that we have to critically look at the actions that will be taken, and now it plays rightly in the hands of health officials, and we're not health officials, so sometimes it becomes a bit difficult in trying to go into the nitty-gritties of it, etc. But it's not the first time that we've had public health concerns being raised about how we keep people in isolation and in such crowded circumstances. We've had in the past concerns raised about the way we keep prisoners, inmates in the prisons, etc., in some of those circumstances. But let's move on.
But Roxanne, Honorable Roxanne, as a Roland, Honorable Roxanne, brings an aspect that is quite interesting.
About the legal angle.
Yeah. Even though
I think it's something that those in the West usually do. They like class actions.
They will sue you.
No, of course, no amount of money can compensate you for the death
somebody should be
of your child or anything. But at least what he's talking about is responsibility. You know, I remember I had a friend, Mohammed. His brother's wife went to the hospital, had a baby, so expensive. I don't want to mention the name of the hospital. So expensive, hoping that, and the mother passed on. Very young lady, unfortunately. May her soul rest in peace. And when my friend Mohammed is a child accountant, said, I'm going to see you. I need to understand. I said, I'm going to see you. You have to explain to me what happened. I brought her here, paid so much money with the hope that she can have a safe delivery. And what are you telling me? And they were shocked.
That one is in tort, medical negligence.
Right. So what he's talking about is not out of context.
No,
maybe probably we are not there yet as a nation, but I can tell you,
Is it, maybe it's because the awareness or the consciousness?
Yeah, because...
No, it's a socio-cultural...
Or the
yes, that it is... Let's forgive. It's God that gives, it's God that takes. But no.
I think one day should be able to sue the ECG or something.
Yes, you can sue, because ECG is capable of suing you if you steal power.
Okay, so those aspects, I'm sure, as we grow as a nation, and of course, the law can be tested, and if in the U.S., for instance, you lose somebody in the hospital, you just want to find out what happened. Tell me everything. I need to know, and let's make sure that this doesn't happen to another person. So it is time that we have to be responsible. We have to take our jobs and whatever we are, put in charge of to do seriously, because you can't take people's life for granted. So many lives have been lost in this Kuma countries.
Right.
And
do they have an infirmary? Every science school is supposed to have a clinic where, in school we call it infirmary, and they'll have an infirmarian. They will offer first aid. Even at midnight, anytime there's a health emergency, before you are referred to a hospital. Do they have one?
Well, we just brought you some live pictures, even though perhaps not aligned very well, but from Kumaka, that's the Kumasi Academy. Himinteria is with our lead cameraman there. We'll try as much as possible and bring you the latest from the campus or the school in itself. Good morning to you, Himing. I'm told you're on the line.
Good morning, Roland.
Yes, so just give us a recap. What is the latest we can have on the whole subject?
Thank you, Roland. The latest is that as at yesterday, many of the parents took their wards home after some of them are allowed their wards to also go for the erythromycin antibiotics that was given by the World Health Organization, being supervised by the Regional Health Directorate. And some of them also left without taking the drugs because when the meeting was ongoing and some of the students collapsed, the parents thought that it was time for them to take their wards home. I sent last night, and this morning I've spoken to some parents who took off their children. Though they are boarders here, they took them home, and this morning some of them will be bringing them here in the school. Just a few minutes ago, I saw two students with their bags. Actually, it's a luggage moving out of a campus. So the situation is that a few minutes ago, I also saw the World Health Organization officials vehicle entering Kumasi Academy. So it may be early days yet, but some of the students who left campus yesterday are now trekking in. And now the school authorities are also here making sure that they put things in order. I must say, unlike the previous days where we have some difficulty accessing the school, for instance, one of our reporters was heckled and manhandled when he followed up this issue. Today, the story is different. The school authorities and the authorities here have allowed the media free entry, as they did yesterday when the regional minister and his team arrived on this particular campus. So I will say for now, that has been the story from Kumasi Academy, Roland.
Please hold on there, because already we also have on the line the head of disease surveillance at the Ghana Health Service, Dr. Franklin Siedu Bequin. Good morning to you, Dr. Bequin.
Good morning, sir.
Now, what preliminary activities, as far as investigations are concerned, have you done on the samples, according to what reports we were getting you took from the school, and what were some of the conclusions?
Thank you very much. Yes, first, let me say condolences to the family of the students that we lost. As of now, we've lost 4 students. I think the whole thing started on the 29th, and since that time to now, we have 61 cases, of which I think we lost 4. Based on the presenting complaint, let me state that about 6 months ago, there was an outbreak in the school. At that time, we were able to identify that the pathogen causing the outbreak was Neisseria meningitis serogroup C. It was more of a meningococcal infection. For this particular outbreak, on that contest, these were people who were presenting with a fever, general body pains, and a few had a cough. So we were thinking aloud. So a number of samples were taken. So we've taken lumbar puncture to look for meningitis, taking blood to also look for viral hemorrhagic fevers, and we've even taken throat swabs to look for influenza. Some of the initial findings that have come are actually negative, but those are smaller samples. So we are taking large samples. We are hoping to get most of the results by the close of day today.
So by which time did we record the 61 cases you're talking about? From which period in point?
The counting is from 29 to now. Let me say that when you have like an outbreak, you try and establish a case definition. That is a criteria by which you are likely to get cases that you think belong to that particular condition that you are addressing. So for now, I would say that they are all 61 suspected cases. And as I told you, the 61 suspected cases is not 4. And then quite a number has been described. So currently, as I speak now, I think there are about 15 on the ward. We are managing the cases in the mainly Parental hospital, the KNUST hospital, and then Kumasi hospital. So those are the areas we are managing the cases.
If we had an outbreak of a certain ailment 6 months ago, which was related to meningitis, is that the case?
Yes.
Okay. The symptoms that the current cases were exhibiting, were they different from that?
Yes, you see, we have the typical or classical symptoms of meningitis, whereby you may have a fever, headache, and neck stiffness. But you can also have a systemic type, which may present with a general stomach complaint. So we are not wholly ruling out meningitis, but the presentation now doesn't clearly depict a typical meningitis. That's why we are doing series of tests to be sure of what we are handling now. And as I told you, most of the preliminary results are negative, but we are still taking more samples to be sure of what we are handling. Purely it's fever, general bodily pains, general malaria. Let me say that the cases that have died, these are cases who are well. They complain, and within a matter of hours, they are dead. So that's why we are saying that this is a condition that has a very short incubating period and a high case fatality. And we have our differentials which we are actually looking for. And hopefully, by the close of the day, based on the large samples that we have collected, we'll be able to get the right pathogen. As far as possible, we are trying to make sure that the students keep a bit of distance from each other and to practice more of cough etiquette. We are not very sure of what pathogen, but we are doing the minimum guidelines so that they are protected.
Well, you're an experienced medical person, but I'm also an experienced media practitioner. I remember there was an outbreak of meningitis somewhere in the Banda area. It's around Bonafo, etc. And the period by which the symptoms perhaps flared up or manifested, and to the time that they died or the fatalities were recorded, were also pretty short. For the independent mind, wouldn't you say that that is quite curious? When you say that your initial tests are indicating that, well, there could not be, or chances of meningitis perhaps should be ruled out.
Yes, you see, what we are doing is that normally, if you get a case, you pick the samples and treatment. So most of the cases that we have gotten, we started on high, very potent antibiotics. So whether they are, let's say, whether they are pneumonia, whether they are meningitis, we are taking the samples and starting them on very powerful antibiotics. But now we are using more of the branded antibiotics. So the treatment is not changing. Yes, and we want to be sure. We want to be sure of the pathogen, because let's say Hello?
Please continue, sir.
Yes, there's a line, something to...
No, don't worry. I guess it's just the technology. Please continue straight away. Yes. Continue with your submission, sir.
Yes. What I'm saying is that, let's say assuming it's meningitis. And you know there are several types of meningitis. So assuming it's a type which is responsible to respond to vaccines, then the management is different. So that's why, but for the classical case of meningitis, the management is purely antibiotics. When it's bacterial meningitis. But if you want to treat broad spectrum, and it's a type that responds to vaccines, then you can go for the vaccine. So for now, our management has been, you see the case, you pick your samples, and start with antibiotics. And that's what we are doing.
Well, should parents be worried, knowing that there was an outbreak of a certain type of disease related to meningitis 6 months ago, but now this one you're not too sure of, and you're just being conservative in your treatment? Should parents be worried?
No, we are not very conservative. You see, what I'm telling you is that, let's say 6 months ago, it was meningitis. Meningitis, the drug of choice is ceftriaxone, which is a very potent broad-spectrum antibiotic. And that's what we are using. What I'm saying is that, assuming is the type which responds to vaccines, in that case, you need to give a different kind of an additional measure. So for now, I think that we are hoping to get the broad results, hopefully by the close of day. But the management is on point. So parents, we want to assure parents that the system is on point to get the pathogen. Normally, what is happening is that, assuming somebody presents and then the person is started on antibiotics before you do is the llama pointer and you do a culture, they are not likely to get the pathogen. So that's why now we are making sure that we do another test, which is the PCR. And that one is more sensitive to pick the particular pathogen. So I want to assure parents, for the past days, some staff are being on their feet. I'm very particular about KNUST Hospital, very, very helpful, their doctor. So I think that parents will have their trust. And I want to take the numbers.
What Dr. Beckley, it's good that you are giving us the assurance. But officially, how many deaths have been recorded and how many have been hospitalized?
Yes, I want to check. It's four. Three males and one female.
And three males and one female?
Yes.
Okay.
And that is the number. And then as I speak to you now, we have 61 cases, and of which quite a number has been discharged. And please, let me stress, it's 4.
So it's not true that it's a lot more boys that are being affected than
yes,
girls.
Yes, three boys, one lady.
Okay, but is it safe that students should be allowed to go home from school, or perhaps are coming from home to school as boarders, as day students, so to speak, also?
No, we are not prescribing that it should go. What we are saying that we want to make sure that we treat them so that they are well. We are not saying that it should go. They are carrying out their medication, and we are not saying that it should go.
I'm just reading something from here. The World Health Organization says that there's general resistance to antibiotics across the world. Perhaps maybe you have not heard it, but we are reading it, so we are worried.
No, but normally before we put people on antibiotics. We do what they call the culture and sensitivity test. And the antibiotics that we are using are sensitive to the pathogens that we have in mind.
Right. I have a guest here, the Member of Parliament for South Dying. He wants to make an interjection.
Doctor, would it not be prudent for a temporary closure of the school so that all these measures all these matters are brought under control, at least for about a week?
Okay, thank you very much. I think that what we need to look in context is that currently, if they are in school, it gives us an idea of like a temporary quarantine. So, assuming, let's say, it's a pathogen who is unusual, then we don't need to release people who have been exposed to the general environment. So, it's good that we handle them and they are taken care of. So, the best intervention is make sure that they are taken care of in the school. And I think that if you look at the numbers, as I said, normally it's unfortunate that when there's one death, then there's a different perception to it. And yesterday there was an incident that, okay, it is nobody wants to have the mortality. We are there to make sure that people get well. You cannot always normally prevent a disease, like somehow prevent death. There was this lady, when you're having a discussion with the parents and the students, a lady was alleged to have collapsed. Later, we had an interaction with the students. And it says that girl normally, I think, has the size of cow. So before we realize there's confusion. I think that I'm asking that let's all see ourselves as Ghanaians to address this question. The fear and panic is not helping anybody. Let's make sure that we reassure people that there's a condition that has come and the health system. And let me say that there's a big collaboration between education and health. So it's a joint effort, media, health, education, all to address the challenge. And the confusion that comes, I think we just start to stop.
All right. Dr. Bequin, and
the last one. If you're not allowing the students to go home, how are you managing the interface of the day students with the boarders who are going forth and back?
So now you are saying that they shouldn't go home; they should be confined there. But we have day students who are coming onto campus
and
going back to go and see their siblings or even go interact with parents, friends, etc.
That's why we are
day students go home.
Hello.
Yes, please continue.
That's why we are maintaining high surveillance on the.
Even when they go home, you do maintain surveillance when they are home.
Yes, because the issue is that
you follow them to the house, Dr. Bequin.
Listen, when you talk about surveillance, it's the idea that you educate them that when they have anything which is unusual, they should report as early as possible. That is surveillance.
That's surveillance.
You want to make sure that if there is disease.
Is it the African surveillance, or that's what you do?
That is standard surveillance.
All right.
Standard.
Thank you very much. Dr. Bequin, Franklin Asari Bequin is the head of disease surveillance, the Ghana Health Service. Thanks for joining me. But we also have on the line Abraham Anan Ej is the acting registrar for Kumasi Technical University. And he's with Ohimin Teria. Well, Ohimin.
Thank you, Roland. Mr. Abraham Anan J is the acting registrar for Kumasi Technical University and also a parent here. Let me find out from him. Share your experience with me as a parent. You've monitored developments on campus here. What is your reaction to this happening?
Yes, sir. I'm very happy to be confronted with this interview. I'm a parent here. In fact, to give you a small history, it's like a family school for me. My first boy came here, finished 2011. He's now a medical student in the 6th year in the UDS. The second girl came here. She's now a medical laboratory technology student in Kivas. The third boy went to Parental, but the last one, the daughter, is now here in Form 2. I have monitored development here over the last term. When this particular thing broke out and some students died, I learned, I'm not being accurate, but I learned about 5 or 6 students died. They themselves know. They even invited for a parent-teacher association. We came here, I remember that day, a man came from Jobosobia because of this kind of thing, came to listen to the course of this thing. We sat here, nobody told us anything. Around 5 o'clock, we have to depart home.
When you say nobody, are you saying the school authority?
No, school authority approached us because they have invited us on our platforms. But when we came here, there was not even a signboard that the meeting has called off. So we came to sit here waiting for the meeting to start. We sat here till 5 o'clock. Nobody came to tell us anything, so we departed. You see, the problem I have with these authorities is the intransparent nature. The intransparent nature of the way they are handling the things. You see, if there's an epidemic or disease or whatever, it is not your fault. You have to tell us. You can't tell me that a student population of about 2,000, all the parents are truck pullers. All the parents, they know something. We can meet and then we share ideas about how to solve the problem. But you come here, even the regiments come there and they shove things and this one will go. Why is it that since that time they even promised that they will set up a small unit here and monitor the disease and the causes? Has that thing come?
Yeah, who made all these promises?
No, I heard it. They told some association of the parents that there will be a small unit here to monitor that kind of diseases.
So Mr. Anand, it seems you are being too hard on the school authorities because in the first place, you've brought your ward here for her to be taken care by the school authorities.
Yes,
now they are doing their best. Do you think they have done something wrong apart from you for you to suspect they are not being transparent?
Doing the best is not about teaching only in class. As for that one, you take and take your pay. But every responsibility goes with you being here as authority person. You know, what I'm saying that they are not treating this kind of thing with transparency. Otherwise, why do they a PTA meeting and we come and sit here, nobody tells anything, and we go away?
So in your own estimation, when you say they are not being transparent, what exactly do you mean?
They are not telling us the truth about the causes of the thing and how they are going about it. We only come here. You see, last time, if you remember, some parents came here and ransacked the place. They even closed the door, but some parents broke inside, spoiled buses and so on. Last time, ask anybody, any concerned parents here.
So what happens to your ward, your daughter here?
No, I mean, in terms of what?
In terms of, you told me you brought her here, so she was a boarder, right? And what happened?
No, she was a boarder. She came here as a day student, but I sought a boarding facility for her to start in the second when it came to Form 2. But before that time, that kind of disease broke out. So I said I want to wait a bit and see how things will go. Because I couldn't hear any kind of a transparent solution or whatever, I declined the boarding house. So she's still a day student.
So why are you accompanying her to school this morning? Is that what you do every day?
I came for her. When I came, they said that they have given them some antibiotics or whatever. I even interviewed some girls. One of the girls said that she didn't take the medicine because they said that when you take the thing, you have to come today also to take and come on Thursday. And the Thursday they will break for some time or whatever. That was what the student girls told me. Okay. But my girl, when I saw, he said she has already taken it. And I said, okay, it's okay. It's okay to take it. So it means that today too, you have to come and take it and Thursday. That is why I've come here with her. So I wanted to go inside and go and verify myself what they are doing before I go to my office.
So beyond you following her, doesn't mean tomorrow you follow her and then the following day you follow her.
So I mean today when she takes the medicine, I will come to take her away.
Are you changing her school or something?
Oh, I'm planning. Already I've discussed with some people at a certain St. Andrews, a private school in Asimfosu. So that is where I'm planning to take her to. That is where I'm planning to take her to. Because these people are not being transparent. The way we are handling them is like a kiss gloves.
But let me take you through this. This disease that we are talking about, this condition, health experts have done some medical examination and they are yet to come out with the right diagnosis. Even then they say that they suspect it's bacterial infection. Why would you want to blame school authorities who don't have a little bit knowledge in this area? Because they know that this is a health condition and they've asked the health experts to deal with this. Won't you be, conversant or maybe okay with this kind of arrangement?
Mr. Hyman, you are a very ace newcaster. You might have heard what happened last time. In fact, they even have to break a lot of schools vacated before they have to come back to write their exams and end the term. What I'm saying that the same disease broke out, it fizzled out, it has resurfaced again, even with deadly consequences. I learned about 5 people who have died.
It's only 4.
4, sorry. But at least whether 4 or 1, there's death. And these are not too much natural death that somebody was so. I mean, people die in every secondary school. Every secondary school, people die. In our polytechnic, people die and so on. But why are parents hurrying up here and there and so on? There is something here. You see that my beef is that since that time they haven't told us anything about this. And it look as if we have all forgotten and we have all gone to sleep. I learned there's a new headmaster, but the old one who just left at this time, and when he came here, he might have been briefed. I am a school administrator myself. As I stand here, I'm a tertiary school administrator. And that is not the way we go about things down there.
So let me ask you for you, probably this will be my last question. Yes, as a parent and as a school administrator, what do you think will be the best way for the school authorities of Kumasi Academy to solve this problem?
The best way is that, first, they have to call a very transparent meeting of parents. It's an urgency one, and tell us what has come. So that when we come, we will all digress and deliberate on the issue. whether the medical health services or whatever, if we know even some expert outside, we can on our own accord bring the person inside to come and help. You see, they say it's not a meningitis, it's not this or that, but still people are dying.
But Mr. Anand, you see, the World Health Organization are here, and the Ghana Health Service, those who have knowledge, they are the ones distributing these antibiotics to the students here. I think this should be enough conviction for you.
I mean, that is not I mean, this knee-jerk approaches. I, as an ACE administrator of a tertiary institution, I don't support. I don't. You know, it is not too transparent. That is the point. It is not transparent. Me, when I get the chance, I'm taking the daughter away. I mean, you can't. As I gave the history. My 3 children have been here, and they pass well, and they are in very good institutions, good courses. You know, otherwise, but human health is very, very important.
Okay, so Roland, this is Mr. Ibrahim Anand Eji. He's the acting principal, acting registrar for Kumasi Technical University, and also a parent. So he is not comfortable with the way school authorities have handled the issue. Though health officials are here, he thinks that the school authorities should have been more transparent in dealing with this matter. So for now, we are still monitoring events here at the Kumasi Academy School. I must say, the students are composed, they are on campus, and it's been a very normal day for the students here. Roland.
Oh, thank you very much, Ohim Interior. I don't know about the composition of the parents, though. They're not composed at all. Looking at a parent who is an acting registrar of Kumasi Technical University. Now, Roxton, your last comment.
Yes, Roland, from having heard Mr. Ajayanan, and of course, his situation will be reflective of other parents of the school. The administrator should close down the school, temporarily, for about, say, a week or 2. Then they call stakeholders meeting, not parents alone. They should call stakeholders meeting involving GES, the municipal assembly or the metro, the district health team, as well as the district ambulance team, so that they can review the situation comprehensively and report to GES Accra for the way forward. That's what they should do. I don't think there's any serious studies going on. In this situation, which teacher or student will have the peace of mind to take lessons in English grammar this morning? Normal English or mathematics, the first you take in the morning. Who? It's not happening. There's a general sense of pandemonium. People are just going in and now people are picking their words and all. The school is no longer conducive for academic work, for purposes of the students stay there. So they should do the needful. You know, this is not a government matter. This is administrative. You know, this is how.
This is a local.
Yes, this is a local small matter that they should handle.
The last one, then we'll move on to.
Ronald, I think I can see the frustration in the face of Mr. Anand, and as we all saw, I think it's not a good situation, especially given the lack of time from the first term to this term, and I'm not very happy with the fact that it's taking that long. And also, if the issue was to calm people down, and the fact that we're trying to uncover what the issue is, and for that reason we are keeping the kids in school. How are we managing the day students who are going, yes, you know, home and coming back to school and interfacing with everybody, you know. So initially I was not for the closure of the school, but given the fact that they don't have control over the day students, I think something should be done. But I also want to say finally that it is important to give information. Parents should know. What is the difficulty about opening up? Being transparent about it. This is an issue. Nobody caused it. Like my friend is saying, Honorable is saying, it's not a government issue. It is a disease. We all need to be open about it. Let's talk together and so let's open it up. It's okay. It's nobody's problem. Let's manage the situation openly.
Only one school.
Yeah, because if you don't provide information, people will fail in the
job. Don't be panic withdrawal.
All right. So let's look at this 5 minutes and then we'll go.
Sure.
It's featured on the front page of Ghanaian Times and all that. It's a 2 for $10 million Sakawa deal. It's just about it's cybercrime, internet crime, popularly known as Sakawa. Now, allegedly, we're told that some 2 individuals and 5 others who are at large were involved in all this. But the IOCO has been investigating this, and apparently the FBI has also been brought in. 5 or 3 other suspects in the US and Canada have also been rounded up in all this. Generally, cybercrime and it's still gaining the momentum. It means that more people can still use some means to get some money illegally, as it were.
Yes, indeed, Roland. Cybercrime is on ascendancy. It's been on ascendancy with the introduction of high tech into our everyday affairs. And so, you know, money transfer. When you are transferring sums of money from one account into the other, or interbank transfer, it is not cash that is moved.
It's electronic.
Yes. And so that is where cybercrime comes in. The fraud associated with to be able to divert that electronic message. That instead of the message saying that a sum of money should hit a B account, it can be manipulated to say that that sum of money should hit a C account. That's where the fraud is. And so it is common in the Western world. We are, as a society, we are moving towards there. So it is consequential. Some of these things, you no longer will find somebody you know, you can see the kind of sums of money involved. Now we don't talk of 10,000. We are talking of
you
millions.
Talk about $1,000.
Yes, we talk of millions. You know, and so there are authorities. Yeah, you will see. That is why, for instance, institutions that are superintended by the Ministry of Communications, these days they hold a lot of seminars, even with national security. I think there was about 1 such seminar 2 weeks ago. I saw it on our governor's channel, I think last week, where they held a seminar on cybercrime and all that. So they should take some of these things seriously, and the police are always involved, and so it's good. No wonder they've been able to at least deal with this matter.
But Mr. Chimaboji, this one's got to
and a small point, and it always has an international dimension.
Very.
So you will see that the FBI. I'm surprised that Interpol has not been mentioned in the matter, because you always will find Interpol in the thick of affairs there. So they are rounding up suspects from the US, Canada, and of course our local situation. And you see that there will be others in the West African sub-region who will also be involved. It's always an international syndicate, because you can't
even
$10 million.
Oil in vessels are even sold, right? Are even stolen.
Yes.
They are diverted on the sea.
Yes.
But at the end of it, this one is
That is not cybercrime.
No, yeah, of course.
That is piracy. And
yes,
all
yeah.
that.
This is one of the cases in which they told the suspects or the victims that they were going to supply them with gold bars. You needed this amount of money to go and ship the gold bar, take it from a certain vault, you know, that kind of.
Roland.
And in my practice, it's come before me so many times.
Roland.
So you go to FIC.
PMMC, you know. Instead of dealing with PMMC, you deal with individuals, and these matters come. And as lawyers, we do what we have to do. And so I know of some of this.
Yeah, it's not alien to you.
Roland, these guys are getting very, very smart. And
Smarter,
actually. And I think the education on some of these schemes is not, I think, up and up enough. Because I had an experience about 2 months ago where somebody called me from what do you call it, the energy at the Sunyani, the energy,
the University of.
There was some place they produced. He was just telling me to sell some, come and help them buy some equipment for the energy production. What do you call it? Sector in Sunyani. I'm forgetting what the name is. And that they are going to do.
Is it Bui?
Bui. That they are going to do. Yes.
Buidam.
That they are going to do some production. That he had a vendor that he's not happy with, and that he knows me to be a businessman, so he wants me to come and help. He quoted the price. The price is this is the margin you make. Blah 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 blah. And I said, so you know me? How do you know me? Oh, I know you. You are here. He gave me a very flimsy description of who I am. We started talking, and I wanted to engage him to see where he was going. Eventually, I wanted to get him arrested, but the guy was very smart. So what I did is I called that department. I called the Ministry of Energy. Do you know a guy by the name this? I called Kumasi where he references residents, and I sent my people in my company to go and check whether or not he actually works there. So I was doing my homework due diligence to make sure who this guy was. Eventually, and he was dictating the terms. Can you meet me in Tema at this place? I said, no, I won't meet you in Tema. You meet me, if you want the money to do, meet me here. I was trying to get him to arrest it. So I saw that the level of sophistication that they are playing with, ordinary people can easily be duped.
You hoodwinked, especially if you are greedy.
If you are greedy.
Yeah, if you are greedy.
So this guy spelled the numbers. He told, and you could imagine how he put it. And they said, call this man. So you call the man tells you the same thing. It's true. We
it's
have
a syndicate.
I said, I want to see, see sample. Give it to me.
Bring it to you.
So I realized, so, wow, the education is quite low. People are being duped. Our citizens are being duped by all these kinds of things. And I think we have to, the media should help. Parliament, we should use our platform to write statements and discuss the issue and make sure we tighten up a little bit. Otherwise, these things will continue to kill our people. Because the way they did it, I tell you, anybody.
And when the person that you can always arrest is the person who submit the sample. And the person who is submitting the sample for scrutiny is a messenger. They could pick the person from the roadside.
Actually, it's alien to the whole operation.
It's the whole system.
And if you don't take care, they will kidnap you. They will kidnap you.
He's also tipped,
you know,
that or if you're a motor rider, Okada. So they will say, Okada, take 100 cedis and deliver this to somebody. You meet him and
there's no sample.
You know? So when he's arrested, he has no idea.
You know?
Daniel Ochema Boaji is a member of parliament for Bantama, and he was here with me alongside Roxanne Nelson Dapamapo, who is a member of parliament for South Dying, also a legal practitioner. Well, we have to take a break.